loves, welcome to my channel. Today's video is definitely one of my favorite kinds of videos to watch here on YouTube, and that is top 10 makeup essentials you definitely need in your makeup bag, especially if you're a beginner or even if you're traveling. So I will be listing all the products in the description box down below, and if there are any high-end products that I am mentioning today, I will be listing a drugstore dupe for all of those products as well. Without any further ado, let's get right into the video. The first product I would mention would be the foundation. I really feel that this is an essential that you need, especially you need to start with a flawless base. You know, it's great if you are trying to even out your skin tone. Also, if you have any blemishes, you want to hide that. There are different options when it comes to foundations, depending on how comfortable you are and how your skin is in general. The first one would be the full coverage foundation. Second product is light to medium coverage, and then there's something called BB creams and CC creams. Now, for myself personally, there's two products that I would love to mention. One is high-end and one is drugstore, and the first one is this foundation from Too Faced called Born This Way. My shade is in the color Warm Beige, and the second foundation is from L'Oreal. It's called the Visible Lift Blur Foundation, and my shade is Sun Beige. Now, I understand if there is, let's say, a foundation that you feel that you bought is extremely high coverage, but during the day you do not want such heavy foundation, then I recommend mixing the foundation with your moisturizer of choice. What it does, it shears out the foundation and you know, gives you the coverage you need without feeling so heavy on the skin. For the second product I would like to mention is definitely concealer. Now, there's two different ways you can go with concealer. You could either get a concealer that's a shade to 2 shades lighter than your skin tone, or you can go for 3 to 4 shades lighter if you are looking to brighten your face. There's actually 3 different concealers that I would like to talk about today. My first and foremost favorite concealer is by MAC. This one is the MAC ProLongwear Concealer. The second concealer I would like to talk about is definitely one of the concealers that are highly raved up on YouTube, and that is NARS Creamy Concealer. My shade is in the shade Custard. The third product is a product that is from drugstore, and it is a dupe for Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer. The concealer by Heart Candy, and it's called Glamoflouge Concealer. It is one of my favorite drugstore concealers of all time, and you know, a little bit of product goes a long way with this concealer. It is extremely pigmented. It is a little bit on the heavier side, but what I like to do when I use this concealer is I put it in the palm of my hand, warm up the concealer, and then apply it on my skin. So what it does is it shears out the concealer and it's not so cakey. And as we are talking about makeup essentials, I really do want to emphasize on having products that you can use as a multi-purpose. Any eyeshadow on my eyelids, I recommend use a concealer. You can either use your fingers or you can use a beauty sponge. Apply it all over your lips before you apply eyeshadow, and you'll see that the colors turn out, you know, quite pigmented and bold. So once, you know, we've done the foundation, we've got the base, and then we've added the concealer to conceal and highlight and brighten your face. I certainly think, especially with the warmer months coming up, you definitely need to set your makeup. Product that you should go for, especially in powders, should be translucent. There's 2 reasons for that. You know, if you want to set bake under your eyes, also if you want to set all over your face. The second reason I find the translucent powder is perfect because with the warmer months, you know, at least for myself, my complexion definitely changes if I'm going on a bit, you know, on a tanner side, paler side, depending, you know, if I'm out in the sun. Again, translucent powder is great no matter what your skin tone is. It works wonders, and you know, you do not need to get too many different shades of powders. And there's actually 2 powders that I really like for translucent powder. The first one is by Mercier Translucent Powder. Again, this is one of the products that I know that have been raved on here on YouTube, and I can, and I understand why. It's a very thin milled product. It goes on very smooth. It does not feel cakey. It does not make my face or my under eyes leaving it very dry. So this is one of the products that I definitely recommend. The second product, if you want to go again for a drugstore option, then there is a Translucent Setting HD Powder by NYX. When we apply foundations and powders, it makes our face look flat. We lose the natural dimension of our face, so it's very, very important to either bring back some color in your complexion, but also if you want to bring back dimension in your face. So you can either apply a bronzer of choice, or you can even apply a blush, depending on what your skin tone is and what your personal preference is. I think, especially for the summer months coming, having a nice bronzer is great. It gives that glow back into the complexion. And again, it also contours your face very subtle, very lightly, but again, it brings the dimension back to your face. So I'm going to share a bronzer of my choice and some of the blush options, which I find are great, especially for the summer months coming up. First bronzer that I would like to talk about, it's one of my favorite bronzers. I've had it. This is probably the third or the fourth time I've purchased it. And this one is called Give Me Sun by MAC. Again, I used it in my last video, my go-to glam makeup tutorial. It's great. It's a very nice terracotta color. A little bit on the peachy, bronzy, golden side. It is not ashy looking on my skin, which is why I love this product. I use this even as a blush. The second bronzer which is a little bit on the pricier side, which I again really, really recommend, is the bronzer by Too Faced, Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I've heard great things about that product. And for the blushes, my favorite from MAC is called Prism. It is great if you're looking to contour slightly, but also add a little bit of a pinky glow to your skin. The second blush that I think is great and very pigmented are the NYX blushes. The color is called Deep Plum. Again, it does actually, I'm going to just open and show this product. It can be slightly intimidating when you look at this in the pen because it is a little bit on the darker mauve side, but on the skin it comes off beautifully. And the third blush that I would love to recommend is the Tarte blushes. They're not so chalky, they're perfectly pigmented, very, very thinly milled, and I highly recommend. And the shade that I really, really like from this Tarte is called Party. The next product I would like to mention in the Makeup Essentials is eyeshadow palettes. Two eyeshadow palettes that I highly recommend. First one is from the drugstore. It's called the 2K Nudes Maybelline Palette. It has a great selection of some neutrals, cool tones, warm tones. It has some plums, emerald colors, and then some bronze colors. Right here, this eyeshadow. Sometimes I use it to highlight my brow bone, but also on the center of my nose. So I think this palette is great and a must-have. Second palette that I would like to mention is not from the drugstore, but it is one of my favorite palettes, and it is by Tarte, called the Tartelette palette. It has a great selection of all the neutrals, mauve tones, warm browns, blacks, some cool tone colors, and then some flesh tone colors. Now, what I like to do with this palette, or even just my palettes in general, is I like to use them as multi-purpose as I can, and that is I would use the dark matte eyeshadow colors to fill in my brows. That way I don't really need to get a brow powder on the side, and it's easy to carry. So depending on your hair color, obviously, for myself I like to use any of the dark browns. Either I'll use from the Tartelette palette the Multitasker color, which is very, very similar, or even Dreamer for my eyebrows. And this, from the Maybelline palette, this taupe brown color is what I use to fill my brows. Another product I'd like to mention, since we are talking about the eyes, is mascara. I think that, It really breaks or makes your eye look. It opens up your eyes, and my favorite is actually from drugstore, and it's the L'Oreal Telescopic. Now moving on to the lips. With the lips, I find it is personal preference. So there are certain different combos or options that you can use when it comes to lip colors. Now, if you're a beginner and you do not want to wear like heavy lipstick, then you can either use lip stains, which are great, they're great color payoffs. They last throughout the day without, feeling too heavy on your lips. The second product I would like to recommend is using a balm, which has a little bit of tinted balms which have a little bit of color. It's by L'Oreal. It's Pop Balm. It's one of their, I think, in your collections. So this is really great if you're looking just to add a little bit of hydration back in your lips, but also a little bit of color. Another thing that I would like to recommend is for people that do want a little bit of color, do want a little bit of definition, but not want to go overboard, then you certainly want a lip liner. Is I would apply this, fill my lips with a lip liner, and then I would finish it off with dabbing the NYX Butter Gloss just in the center of my lips. And this one is in the shade Angel Food Cake. The third product when it comes to lips I would like to mention, a liquid lipstick or a regular lipstick. One is actually by Stila. It's called Patina, and that's what I have on my lips today. NYX lingerie lipsticks are great. They have, again, great selection depending on your skin tone. For lipsticks, if you want a lipstick with a satin finish that's not too matte, not too drying on your lips, then one is from Kat Von D. Since we are talking about essentials, there would be people that want to go for the bold look, but then also occasionally want to wear a little bit muted out, light neutral colors, and you do not want to purchase more than one lipstick. So in that case, what I recommend is get a medium toned lipstick, take a little bit of concealer on your fingers and just dab it in on your lips. What that does is it mutes the color without taking away the color. My first favorite makeup tool. Now, we've heard a lot of things about different beauty sponges out there, but there's two sponges that I highly recommend. The first one is the Beauty Blender. The second one, which I think is the exact dupe, is the Beauty Sponge by Real Techniques. The reason why I've included the Beauty Blender in today's video is because I think it's such a versatile tool. It's a multi-purpose tool. You could use that to apply your foundation. You could use that to apply your concealer, blend your contour. You could also use that to set and bake under your eyes or your full face. This makeup brush is set. I got this from BH Cosmetics. I got around, it was 10 brushes for $20. I find that's a great price. The brushes are great. They have that gold detail with black. But beside that, what I love the most about these brushes is the fact that there's no fallout. There's a great selection of brushes. So they have eye brushes, face brushes, highlighting brushes, eyeliner brush which you can use when you're applying your matte eyeshadow as an eyeliner or to fill in your brows. I'll be listing all the products in the description box down below. Lastly but not the least, the product I would like to mention is a face mist. I think that face mist is something that you definitely need in your makeup bag. When you have makeup on your face throughout the day, it sometimes can get too dehydrated, cake your heavier side. So when you apply a face mist, what it does is it gives you the seamless airbrush finish rather than having piles and piles of makeup on. Two of the makeup face mists that I would like to recommend is, the first one is by MAC. I can't recall what they're called for the life of me. I think they're called MAC Prep and Prime Face Mist, and they've come up with different selections where they have coconut water, rose flavored, so it smells great, it feels great on your skin, and again, it does the job. It makes sure that your makeup stays put throughout the day, and at the same time, it gives you that flawless airbrush finish. The second one is my favorite, and this one is from the drugstore. It is by the called Pearl Essence, and this particular one that I have is the rose water. I also have a coconut water face mist. These two are absolutely my favorite sort of face mist to use. So these were my top 10 makeup essentials that you need in your makeup bag. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye!